Hello everybody, welcome to another Flaming Dice Reviews video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Dice Masters, or Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters Battle for Faerun. Quite a mouthful. This is a deck building game but with dice, so I guess it's a dice pool building game where players control spells and creatures and the dice represent those in lieu of cards. Whereas in Magic the Gathering, the card is where all of the stats are printed. In Dungeons & Dragons Battle for Faerun Dice Masters, the dice actually represent the creatures and they go out and attack for you. So let's take a look at what comes inside of this, the two-player starter set. And then we're also going to open one of the expansion packs. These are $1 at your friendly local gaming store, or at least at my local gaming store. And it comes with additional cards and dice. So we're also going to be taking a look at that. Very fun, very addictive. Let's get to it. The dice that come inside of the Battle for Faerun starter set and subsequently the expansion packs or booster packs are very unique. They're in beautiful colors and they're very high quality. They're not like some custom dice you see in even professionally produced games. So I was very, very happy with those dice, and I have purchased some more. Quite a bit more, actually. The dice, for the most part, represent either creatures that you're going to attack your opponent with, spells, or energy. And energy can be used to activate creatures, to activate spells, or to purchase new dice. And we'll get to more of that in just a moment. But just as a quick overview, you have dice size that include 1 and 2 fist energy, 1 and 2 mask energy, 1 and 2 shield energy, 1 and 2 bolt energy, a wild energy side, a 2 energy side, and then you have here in the middle creatures. And with these creatures you have their fielding cost up in the top left, their attack in the top right, and their defense in the bottom right. Same with the other two, and as you can see, this one in the middle is free to field. Down at the bottom you have your spell dice, and these are well, they're considered action dice, and these actions and spells let you equip items to your creatures that are on the field, or they let you cast an attack spell or a defensive spell, or any number of things. And that's a basic look at the dice. Cards in Battle for Faerun are essentially come in two different types. You have your action card, like the one on the left, and your creature card, like the one on the right, or minion card, whatever you want to call it. And then each card, no matter what it is, has a corresponding die. So for example, down here at the bottom, Blessing has a possibility of rolling 2 energy, which adds to your buying power. Or it can roll 1 symbol, 1 exclamation symbol, which activates the spell. And if you additionally get this one that has the same symbol but with the 2 asterisks, then you get a bonus to your spell. Over on the right, you have your creature card, and this is a lesser elemental called Invisible Stalker. Now that's the really cool thing about this game and what makes it so collectible, is that all of the spells and creatures have different level cards. The dice are the same, but the cards are different. So for example, there are lesser elementals, there are greater or lesser creatures, greater creatures, there are paragon creatures, and there are epic creatures. And there's multiple of the same ones. For example, epic dragon, greater dragon, lesser dragon. So the card changes, as does the cost in some cases of the creature and the abilities. It looks like it doesn't for red dragon, and I believe I'm correct in saying that on some creatures it does. But anyway, whether it does or doesn't, the abilities are different from different levels of the creatures. There's also a lot of other just beautiful, beautiful artwork for the different creatures. Frost Giant, Umber Hulk, Kobolds, Mummies. There's both D&D specific creatures and creatures that you see in a lot of traditional fantasy and horror. I think you'll recognize a lot of them, especially if you're a D&D fan. Very briefly, for the last two types of cards that are at least are available right now, we have on the left spells and on the right gear. And gear can be equipped. Spells can be used to target enemy players or enemy creatures. And I believe last time I incorrectly called Blessing the card that was out there with the creature cards a spell card. It was in fact a basic action card. But that is all four types of cards that come in the game as of now. Creature cards, basic action cards, spell cards, and gear cards. I wanted to take a look and show everybody what the booster packs for the game look like and how they come packaged and what it looks like when you open them. So I did, with great difficulty, manage to save one of the booster packs to show on film. So I'm going to open that now and show you what it looks like. Each pack comes with a little piece of cardboard that's used just for rigidity to keep it safe. And then also comes with two cards. Now sometimes it's spells, sometimes it's creatures. In this case, it did come with two. One common creature, a lesser elemental frost giant, and then one uncommon, which is a greater aberration carrion crawler. And then also included in the pack, of course, are the appropriate dice. And as you can see, the symbols match, and those are ready to add to your collection and be played with. Now this is not going to be a 100% accurate recreation of what the board game looks like, but I am going to attempt to show you how the game plays. Now for this setup, we have in the middle the action cards, basic action cards, and at the beginning of the game each player gets to bring two of those. I only have two. There should be four total, two from each player, but I only have two just to make it a little simpler to follow. You place these identifiers up at the top so that you know which colored dice coincide with those spells. And then you place the appropriate number of dice, 3 on each one of the 4, in this case 2, basic action cards that are out there. Now, we're not worried about the opponent's side of the field. We're just going to worry about mine. And on this side, I have skeletons, halfling thieves, and a spell, prismatic spray, that I can purchase. Now only I can purchase these. Either player can purchase the basic action dice from the middle. Now over here on the left we have our 8 NPC dice, and these both have energy like we saw earlier and NPCs. Now the NPCs are just like creature dice but weaker. They're also free to field, as denoted by the 0 at the top. So every player, or each player, starts with these 8 NPC dice in a bag. And at the beginning of the turn, they take 4, they draw 4 dice and roll them. In my case, I got 2 fist energy, 1 bolt energy, and an NPC. Now I can either send this NPC out in the field to fight, or I can re-roll him. And a player can re-roll as many dice as they want to on their turn. We're going to say that I got that. That would be 2 shield, 1 wild, and 1 bolt energy. Now with these, I'm going to purchase more dice. So my skeleton costs 2, but requires a mask. Now the wild can be used as a mask. So 1, 2. Just like in Magic, 1 has to match the symbol, which you can see the symbol right there faintly behind the cost number. So you have your cost and then the symbol that has to match it. So I have purchased a skeleton. These will go into my used pile that I used to purchase it, plus one of the skeleton dice will go into the used pile as well. Then I have 2 leftover energy. I could purchase another skeleton, except I don't have another mask energy. So let's just cheat and say that I did have another mask energy. I could purchase another skeleton. I would put the 2 energy that I used, the dice that had energy that I used, into my used pile, as well as the newly purchased. So anybody that's familiar with deck building, they'll recognize that mechanic. New things that you purchase go into a discard, or in this case, used section, until you run out of cards in your deck slash dice in your bag, in this case. So let's fast forward to my next turn. I draw 4, and surprise, surprise, it's 4 NPC dice, because my new purchases haven't made it in there yet. So this charm basic action costs 4. I'm going to purchase that, put all these in the used pile, as well as this newly purchased charm basic action dice. My opponent takes his turn. I'm out of dice in my bag, so now I'm going to take all of the dice in my used pile, and let's just cheat, skip forward a little bit, and say that I purchased these as well. Now, on my turn, whenever I draw 4 dice, there's a chance that I'll get some of these newly purchased dice. For example, I have 1 NPC that I can field, 1 level 3 skeleton that costs 1. It costs 1 energy to field. So I'm going to spend this 1 energy, put that in my used pile, field my skeleton. Now I have a skeleton with an attack of 3 and an NPC with an attack of 1 that I can attack my opponent with. These are used to attack, and I'm not going to go into the used pile and the KO pile and all of that. That's arguably the most complicated portion of learning this game, is all of the positions on the field that the dice can go into. However, I think that gives a pretty good overview of how the game is played and how it's very similar to a deck building game, only with dice. One last thing that I did forget to mention is the life count, and each player starts with 15 life. However, during tournament play, the rulebook does say that each player has 20 life. There's also rules for how many dice and creatures and cards each player can bring to the field. I don't think that's important right now. You're either going to be interested in the game or not, based on the information that I have provided, I think. And one last bit of information, just so that I don't mislead anybody. This bag that I was using to draw the dice from is my own bag. I provided that, or I bought this separately. The game comes with 2 paper bags to put the dice in. Now, I'm not going to count that against them. At least they put something in there, and they didn't say, oh, hey, by the way, you've got to buy some bags. Not that it would have been a big deal, but at least they tried. At least they put something in there. Welcome back, everybody. Now that we've seen a little bit about how the game plays and what comes inside of the starter set and the expansion packs, let's get down to my final thoughts. I really have enjoyed playing this game, even more so than playing the game. I have enjoyed opening the booster packs. I'm a little bit of a booster pack addict, and the fact that this has both 2 cards and 2 dice in it makes it that much more fun to open. Add that in with the fact that it only costs $1, so it's a cheap booster pack, and I'm completely addicted. I buy these things 5 and 10 at a time, sometimes up to 20 at a time. I've spent a good amount of money on this game already, and I have spent way more time looking at, organizing, and opening booster packs for this game than I have playing this game. However, I have played it a pretty good bit. I think that the mechanics are great. I really like that both players get to bring the action cards to the set and that both players can purchase for it. I think that the dice are just super cool, and as someone who never played the X-Men dice builders or Dice Masters or the Yu-Gi-Oh or any of that, I was brand new to the system. I really enjoyed it. Things that I didn't or that I think would be a problem with the game, it is collectible, and I think anytime you have anything that's collectible, some people aren't going to feel it. I've already run into that already, where I've told my friend, hey, you should buy this so that we can build cool deck dice pools and battle each other, and he's like, no. I collect enough things. I don't want anything else that I have to collect. And I respect that. That's going to be a problem that I think a lot of people have. However, with the starter set only being $20 and the boosters being $1, you might can sell that to some people. I ran the Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters Battle for Faerun through the Flaming Dice Reviews scoring system, which scores a game based on eight categories, including portability, fun, replayability, accessibility. Battle for Faerun got a 87 out of 100, which is a great score. Great score for a great game. One last thing that I will mention about the game is that I've drawn a blank, and I don't remember what I was going to mention. And I remember now. When you buy this game, you will need to have some other sort of storage unit available if you plan on getting any booster packs whatsoever. This little dice holding area down at the bottom literally will hold 0 more dice. So once you open this and add 1 booster pack, then you are out of space. So you have to put this in something else. I have it in a single cardboard box, or single sleeve cardboard box that holds like 1,100 cards. But that's divided amongst the cards and the dice. Anyway, Battle for Faerun got an excellent score, excellent game. If you can get other people to collect it with you, I think you'll have a lot of fun. So thank you very much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe, and please visit the website at www.flamingdicereviews.com, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.